Hey, remember I was telling y'all the other day to grab this book right here, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Let me show y'all something out of here. Look at this. See, it's so much of this right here, man, that be in our face. But if people are constantly arguing with each other, you never gonna get to this level. You never gonna even think that the plans that these people got, so-called elites, they plans is diabolical, fam. Look at this pyramid of power. Let me just show y'all a little something, how they look at human beings who not with them. Alright? This is how they look at people. Look, this is their plan, the so-called elite. Look how they got people. You got them at the top, so-called rich elite, right? Powerful sub-families. They got think tanks. See what they got? All these are think tanks. Look at this. World financial control. Y'all talking about, well, we need to get the digital currency. They control that too. Actually, they got more control over the digital currency than they got right now. We're going to get into that. Look, tax revenue, central banks, interest revenue, all unconstitutional, by the way. Look, corporations. All right. All these are corporations owned by another corporation. These are what you call sublet corporations. All right. Nike, Walmart, Adidas, BP, Shell gas station. All these are corporations that's underneath. They sub corporations, right? World population control. They been on that. You can pick another book up called, what is that? The Whole the Pale Horse. It's so many books, fam. It's so many books. Then you got this. You got the Secret Service, police, military courts, prisons. That's the artificial government. See that? Now, it's wild, because before I turned on this beam out, it wasn't no police, no nothing outside. Nah, they pull up right when I'm on this shit. Crazy. Hold up. And they right next to me. Proud as hell. Look. Controls the elites. Look at that. Fox, CBS, media. Look at this. So they got the de facto government, artificial government corporation. They controlling the media. They controlling the education. See this? Look, this is world population control. This is from their documents. See, we need to start expanding the conversations. Then you got debt slaves. Ooh. Birth. Look at that. At the hospital. See? We here. Then you got schools, labor, taxes, debt, retirement. It's all one big pyramid for the dark side. But, you know, people don't want to have these kind of conversations. They want to be comfortable in their box and think that they, you know what I'm saying, boss babes, and you got dudes out here thinking they big ballers. Whole time, fam, they got a power pyramid that we ain't invited to. And the only way we gonna strengthen up what we got right now, the only way is unification. Unification under what? Nationality. Unification under nationality. That's the only way. Peace and love to all the Moors, the Muslims, all y'all Asiatics worldwide. Shout out to all y'all out there that's really out there thinking of a different way. You actually ain't going with everybody else. You ain't afraid to think outside the box. So a lot of people out there who just think inside the box all day, every day. This is where they comfortable at. They not thinking about something different. Like, you know, shout out to Khalifa Media too. Y'all should get in tune with Khalifa Media, because she got some stuff going on as far as publishing, like books. You feel me? Islam, books and stuff. See, Noble Drew Ali, the Prophet, he said, in order to change the people, you got to change their literature. Only way to change the people is to change their literature. So what you put inside your mind, what you read, what you listen to, that's the media. And these people right here, they got that locked down. Look. Look, fam, media is world population control. That's all it is, man. It's population control. When you send your children to school, if you look up the General Board of Education's philosophy, if you look that up, it's gonna fam, it's really gonna have you like shocked. Google it right now if you can. If you got like a tablet or something, like another phone next to you, look up the General Board of Education's philosophy. Guess what? It ain't been changed since it got started in 1902. The General Board of Education philosophy never got switched up. Do you know what it's saying there? Everything that it say up in there is population control. You feel me? Everything they talking about is population control. But these kind of conversations, you got to start having like worldwide though. Worldwide. Peace, more. What's the word, God? Yes, sir. We got to start having maintain it. See, maintain. This is what we got. This what it is. If we don't start having these kind of conversations, like, look, man, unification is only gonna come through when you linking up with people that's on some. They sick of the shit that we seeing. They want to do something different. They got a flag. They enforcing constitutional law. They out here exercising law. They out here thinking of, hey man, why would I get into it with a Puerto Rican, Dominican, Haitian, Mexican, Trinidadian? What is that gonna do for me? Why would I get into it with an El Salvadorian, a Guatemalan, a Costa Rican, a Venezuelan, a Brazilian, Argentinian? What is that gonna benefit me? Fam, this is what it is. Us arguing with amongst each other is exactly what this power pyramid is they want us to do. They want us to compete with each other, right? To be down here like debt slaves. That's what they on. I don't care if they talking about school, labor, taxes. If they talking about retirement fund, did you know that the so-called retirement fund, they out here talking about when I retire from my job, I'm good. Did you know that they just yanked off them T-bonds? So all these people out here that's thinking they gonna have a Social Security retirement fund, you think your Social Security gonna be there? Bye-bye. You think that you really gonna have some kind of backup plan when these corporations really start folding? They folding right in front of our faces right now. But a lot of people, they not paying attention to that. They more so worried about sports, TV, the finals. They not look. It's nothing wrong with looking at entertainment. The thing is, though, don't let the entertainment be everything, be your all and everything. I like watching entertainment shit, basketball, football, comedy type shit. I like watching entertainment. But when the entertainment, you start letting your motherfucking entertainment supersede your intelligence, that's what they want right here. When your entertainment value is like, man, I gotta watch the game, I don't care about nothing else, they got you. You under the spell. You under the spell, fam. This is what I wanted to show y'all. Look. I seen this post somebody had put up where they was like, black people can't trust Mexicans and Puerto Ricans and Dominicans. This shit was so like ignorant. I had to comment on the shit like, fam, this is what cognitive dissonance look like and sound like. It looked like this right here. I'm gonna hate on you because I ain't never had a conversation with you to figure out what your principles is, what your standards is. That's ignorance. That's like pure ignorance. If you never had a conversation with somebody and you make a judgment call like, I don't like you based off you being you, that's just cognitive dissonance. That's stupidity. We ain't got time right now because, look, this was happening. This was happening around the world, fam. The so-called money is going bye-bye. So these people out here, I seen this dude a content creator. He you know that content creator, I forget which country he from over there in Africa. He on some, they kicked him out of the so-called United States. He's worth $20 million. They told him to get out. ICE. Now we know that ICE is another artificial corporation. They ain't got jurisdiction over Moorish Americans. We know this. But how many average people walking around outside thinking that the U.S. corporation got the juice, got the sauce? That's why a lot of people out here lost. They look like they put together, but they lost, fam. And the thing that's crazy to me is they don't want to be found. Yeah. A lot of people out here so lost, man, they don't even want to be found. They good where they at. They good being lost. I'm like, damn. You good where you at? You should never get too comfortable where you at. Oh, you say he from Senegal. So y'all know the guy. He from Senegal. Good looking, more. He from Senegal. He do the silent little videos and whatnot. He don't speak. He just do silent videos and shit. They kicked him out. He worth $20 million. So do it look or sound like these green pieces of paper really mean something? If you ain't got your affairs in order, like if you don't know your nationality, your status, you don't know how to exercise law in real time, them green pieces of paper, they coming for all that. The they is these people right here. This who coming for it. You know why? Because they can't satisfy the debt. Do y'all know how much the U.S. corporation is in debt right now? What? The U.S. corporation is in so much debt. I'm talking about trillions. Trillions. They can never repay the debt. But again, all this is outlined in the Moorish Constitution. You might say, it ain't no Moorish Constitution. Now, you say that, right? The Moorish Constitution, the Constitution itself, is derived from Moorish law. Did you know that? The so-called Constitution derives itself and its power from Muslim law. Who are the Muslims? Noble Drew Ali laid that out flat. The Muslims and the Asiatics are the Moorish people. See, but this is, again, what these people want us to be like. They want us to think like debt slaves. They want us to be out here talking about, I gotta work and I'm gonna get taxed. Man, I gotta pay this bill. We doing what we doing right now because we gotta do it. But do we gotta do it? Do we gotta do it? Do we really gotta do it? Do we really gotta do what they telling us to do? As much as people be on some rebellion shit, do we really gotta do what they tell us to do? Because I look at it like this. As much as people be out here rebelling against what we supposed to be doing, if you turn that energy into knowing what we supposed to be doing and what they can't do to us, ooh, now you got some strength. See, now you got some strength. Because how can you ever check somebody if you don't know what they doing is wrong? Bing bong. How you gonna check somebody if you don't know where their power is at? How can you check them? They out here like this. Y'all gonna work for us. Y'all gonna be debt slaves. This all y'all finna be. You gonna work, stay busy. Put your children inside the indoctrination camps. And you gonna work your job and be happy as a debt slave. Why? You hold up. So you think, do you really think that the creator of all designed us to be here working as debt slaves? Come on, fam. Come on, boys. You think the creator of all, Allah, designed us to be here as debt slaves? Let me ask y'all this. Who gave somebody else authority? We all born on this planet, right? Who gave somebody else the power to tell us that we got to pay to live here? It's just a tiny little question. Who gave somebody the authority to say, since you live on this planet, we gonna tax you for water, we gonna tax you for food, your car, your insurance, and we gonna pretty much tax you to death? Who gave them that power over us? You think Allah, the creator, was like, you know what? You're gonna be born into this. Who gave somebody that authority over us? Just think about it. You ever seen that movie Ants? You ever seen that movie? When the ants was like, look, man, one of them little ants stood up against the grasshoppers. And he like, nah, I ain't doing that. I'm not finna do that. All right. So the grasshopper, they had a meeting later on, and the grasshopper like, if we let one of those ants get out of line, they all gonna get out of line. Right? They outnumber us 100 to 1. So if they get out of line, all the little tiny little ants gonna be like, nah, we finna rebel. So what they gotta do? They gotta use intimidation, scare tactics, violence. This is what the U.S. corporation do. This is how they get out. This is exactly how they get out, boys. So then you would see it like, all right, well, these people, they getting down on people with violence. They keeping people in control with violence. But this is where the spell start getting broke at. Just think about it. Who gave that's like somebody else telling you where you could live at, what you could eat, where you could sleep at. Do you deserve to get fed water, fed food? This is why law governs all events. So-called black people are the weakest, the most uninformed out of everybody out here. But ain't it wild? Everybody out here come to America to be entertained. Everybody from around the world, they talk shit about America, but they bring their ass here to make money. So how people be saying, I'm leaving America because ain't no money here? How you saying? Like, what are you talking about? Everybody else around the world, they come to America to make money. But you sitting up here talking about, I hate America, I'm finna leave America. Hey, goofball. Everybody around the world, they know what's going on. They come here to make that bread. You so busy being misinformed, you want to leave America, your own homeland. You ain't got no asylum nowhere else. You know that, right? Like if you leave America, the Americas, North, Central, South America, and the Caribbean islands, and Hawaii over there, you know that you can't go to no assembly. You can't go to no kind of safety nowhere else in the world. Did you know that? But you've been told, no, you can leave America and you can set up as a black person in Ghana. You can set up in Pan-Africa. Question. Where's Pan-Africa? Where's Ghana? Where's all these so-called black places that you think your ass gonna run to for safety? It don't exist. And this is exactly how they want to keep humanity. They want to keep humanity in a debt slave mindset. This is exactly what they want to hold people at. They use fear, scare tactics, and violence to do it. See that? But the thing is, what I really want to show y'all is this. Maybe this will help. Maybe if you see it, your mind will change. I don't know. Let's see. Maybe if you see it, how you think about yourself, where you came from, maybe something will change in your mind. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay? Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Hold up. See, maybe seeing something like this will trigger something in your mind. Hold up. Okay, let's start right here. From the book, Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. What you got? What you got in this book? What you got in this book? Palace? Hold up. Palace of the Argentine National Congress. This is in Buenos Aires. All y'all out there that say, I got my passport, and you travel. Have you ever been to Buenos Aires? You ever been there? You ever been here? If you've been to Buenos Aires, that means this building right here. How does this building right here in Argentina, Buenos Aires, look like the Capitol Hill building in Washington, D.C. in America? Yo! What? How, Sway? How? See, this is what I'm saying, G. This is what I'm saying. When you start looking at the worldwide architecture, then maybe something in your subconsciousness, your conscious, it might get triggered, so you get out of the spell of thinking that you black. Get out of the spell thinking that you came over here on slave boats. You get out of the spell. See, people are under a spell. You think you came over here on slave boats, but they never can show where the slave boats is at. So let me get this straight. They got museums around the world, and don't none of them got slave boats in them? What's up, fam? Everything cool? Yes, sir. You got a fresh cut? All right. Be smooth out here, fam. Look, man. They got, shout out to Brazil. Brazil. Look, man. Think about it like this, on some critical thinking. They got all these worldwide museums. They got museums around the world. Why doesn't a museum around the world have a single slave boat inside of it? Yeah. They ain't got no slave boats around the world, fam. And you still gonna hold on to a narrative that has not been proven. That's crazy, insane, and deranged. You didn't come from you're not a descendant of a slave boat. You're not. If you want to see a slave boat, watch the movie The Godfather. Watch the movie The Godfather Part 2. Watch The Godfather Part 2. Okay? In the movie The Godfather Part 2, you will see slaves coming to America. They show it all the time in the movies. But it's a movie, so people don't think that it's real. It's like, it's just a movie. Where do you think they get a lot of these stories from? You think they just make them up? Or somebody in there is using a think tank and they researching these scripts, these stories. Look, again, this is in Argentina, Buenos Aires, South America, right? There's a building that look real similar, super similar to this building. Super similar. This is in Washington, D.C., Capitol Hill. Bing bong. This what you look like. Bing bong. This what you look like. Argentine National Congress? You think separate people made these? Or how about a better narrative. All those was made by the same people thinking on the same wave. That make more sense, don't it? I mean, it really make more sense that you would say these people had to be in tune. They had to be in tune to be making buildings in Buenos Aires that look damn near identical to the building in the Americas, North America. So somebody, you telling me somebody built the building, 2 buildings. One of them was in North America, Washington, D.C., and one of them was in Buenos Aires. And you trying to tell me that they look damn near identical? How? It's like I said, maybe this will trigger something inside you. Because I'm not really even talking to you. I'm talking to your spirit man. Your spirit man, your spirit woman. That's who I'm really speaking to right now. Because people is under mind control out here, fam. You really under mind control. Let me show y'all something else. When they be talking about Egyptian architecture, look at this. You might think that this is in Washington, D.C., right? All right, fam. You think this is Washington, D.C.? Let's see. You think that? Nah. This is in Wellington Monument. This is in England. This is called, hold up. This is called the Wellington Monument, Somerset, England. Oh my God. You see this? See? And then people want to go into these different subjects, but you got to look at history. Because if you weaken history and law, you're not going to be able to put it together. See this? Ain't no Domini. Look, 1,000 years added. This is in Naples, Italy. Look. See, pictures speak 1,000 words. This is not black history. This is not white history. Brown, blue, purple. This is not none of those history. This is not red history. See this? W.J. Jones, Monty, America, established 888. So what year you think it really is? See that? See? Yeah, fam. Shut his beam out. This is in Sydney. See that? 1825. So it's really 825. Look how the city look. Look at it. Look at it. They already had wind turbines out there back then. See? This is in 842. Miller's Point from Flagstaff here. See that? There, you got castles that's there. Do you see that? Those are castles. I just showed y'all the castle in Detroit that got bombed. It got demolished. Hold up. Let's look right here. Look at this. You want to see another castle in America? Here's another castle in America. This castle is this called Sour Castle, Kansas, America. This is in Kansas. But see, you might say, well, that's some interesting information, Kush. That's interesting, but what is it going to do for me? Fam, what it's going to do for you is it's going to get you to think out the box. Because you're in a crayon box. You're in a paint box. What it's going to do for you is you think that you're a Latino. You think that you're a Hispanic. You think that you're an Indian. None of those terms that I just named link up to an ancient history, an ancient culture, an ancient time. Let me tell you something about the word Moor and the word Indian. They're not synonymous. Okay, that's number one. Number two, Indian was substituted for Moor in 1621. So what were you called before 1621? What was you called? And did you know when the so-called Dow's rolls came out, or you would say the Census Bureau came out, before you was known as an Indian or a black person, you were called a Moor. More is ancient. More connects you to modern and ancient times. So remember why I brought up The Godfather Part 2? Remember I brought that up a minute ago? Godfather Part 2, when they was coming over here on that boat, do your homework. You saw them and you thinking like, the Statue of Liberty is there. Wow. Yeah, the Statue of Liberty. Where was they coming to? Where were they coming to? They was coming to port in America. They could have went anywhere in the world, but where did they choose to go? To the Americas. Why? Because the Americas is the true old world. That's why they can't. This is why everybody come to the Americas. You know what's interesting? The people that's born and raised and from America, ancestors from the Americas, they've been tricked out their position to think like, ain't no money in America. It ain't none but crime in America. I need to leave America. And everybody else around the world, everybody else from around the world, name a country, they all want to come here. They all want to come here. You think that's what is that? What does that say about the land that you live on? That you ain't done no history on it, and you just going by narratives that you didn't got taught, brainwashed with in school. You think like this is the land of the slaves. Nah, fam. That's because you tapped into the black narrative. You tapped into the black code. There's something else out here. It ain't the black code either. The black codes, if you pick up Henry Campbell's law book, 4th edition, if you pick this up, you look up the black codes. The black codes is a man-made creation. You know that you got unalienable rights that are God-given. Nobody could take them rights away from you. Exactly. More the Al-Moroccan Empire. Do you realize our people, copper complexion, swarthy complexion, tawny complexion, olive complexion, are the Aboriginal indigenous descendant people. We the ones. So when you out here talking about the black ancient gods, you sound insane. You sound like you got brain rot. You sound like you just regurgitating anything and everything that you heard from these people that do podcasts and be talking shit like they know what they talking about. You just regurgitating pollution. But you don't realize that though. You don't realize you're regurgitating pollution. Because in your mind, you think like, no, it's gotta be black people here because that's all they called us. Who told you that? I just told you and showed you buildings, designs that's on here like this. This is a castle in Kansas. You want another receipt? Okay, here you go. This is Colorado Heights, Kansas, America. Now, can you put it together? When she said Kansas is going bye-bye, can you see it? The yellow brick road. The yellow brick road symbolized a lot more than people think. The yellow brick road symbolized knowledge. It symbolized gold. Everybody comes to the Americas for that gold. Why are you saying gold? Because Morocco, the Al-Moroccan Empire, is known as the land of milk and honey. Who you know don't love milk and honey? Who you know don't love that? Honey, do you know that honey is one of the only things on this planet that can never expire? What? Yeah, fam. Honey, if you put honey in a jar, it damn near never can expire. Where you think that came from? Coming from the rack. But real life though. That's what it is though. You say how many bricks in a yellow brick road? how many bricks is in the yellow brick road? Do you know that the name Morocco, there's Morocco's here. It's 7 Moroccos in America. And the more just put up in the chat, he put up there Utah, Judah. So you got Judah, Utah. And if you look at Las Vegas, look at the fam. If you look at the land, if we start looking at like just the landscapes, you can see you got pyramids everywhere. You got mounds everywhere. But we don't be having these kind of conversations because people, they love to be right instead of being correct. Like, you want to be right in your head because who want to be wrong? But see, that's where discipline come in at. Because people love trying to be right. But are you correct? You're not correct. Look. You said you want to see another castle, right? Look. Here you go. Here's another castle. See that? Here's another castle. Share this beam out. See? Bannerman Castle, Hudson River. This is in America. Why they be talking? This is in America. City Workhouse. This castle is in Kansas, America. You know how many castles are in Kansas alone? Castles? This is in Kansas. The Tiffany Castle. You think castles, see, it's media, fam. And that go all the way back over here. Look. That goes all the way back over here to world population control. How do you do it? You control the so-called de facto government. You control the media, television, movies. You control the education. You see, it's a trifecta of demonocracy. Therefore, you create debt slaves that eat these up like wings with mild sauce on them. That's what it be for world population control. Get the man to argue with the women and vice versa. See this? This is Chicago right here. You see this? Look at this building. This is Chicago right here. Right here. They said that this building was created in less than 100 years. This building right here. But they made these buildings with buggies and horses. These buildings right here. In the 1800s. Come on, fam. Come on, man. Then you got stuff like this on the ground. Star forts. This is in the Netherlands. Lippy Star. This is in Portugal. You see this? See, showing you these pictures that speak 1,000 words, maybe it triggers something inside your head. And you're gonna be like, nah, I gotta shake that black shit. That shit is like bad dope. You gotta shake that shit. Cause that shit got your ass under the spell. You got that black gorilla on your back. You gotta shake that shit off. This is in England. Look at the ground. Look at the ground, fam. Look at this. It is. Hold up. When they be talking about Tartaria and the flags of the nations, you see Tartaria right there. See that? So when you talking about Tartaria, you talking about the Americas. You talking about the Al-Moroccan Empire. You're really talking about the planet. So when you talk about Tartaria and the Tartarian maps, you're really talking about the entire planet that was sectioned off. All right? Ham and Cush, father and son. This is what you have here. This is what you really have here. Map of Tartaria, you're really talking about the planet. And what's happening right now is the so-called pale-skinned Europeans, what's happening with them is we've been brainwashed to think like all pale-skinned Europeans are the enemies. That's cap. We also been taught like all of them want to do all of us dirty. Nah. Or all of our people supposed to look out for all they people. That's cap. Because clearly our people don't. And clearly Not all pale-skinned Europeans are your enemies, fam. That's just cap. That's just to keep division going like this. This right here, that's just to keep division going. You want to keep arguing. You want to keep thinking, do you know who it is? You don't really know who the enemies is, man. Because you're not studying law and history. Yeah? Since you're not studying law and history, you're not studying finances, you're not studying trust law, you're not studying this history. They could tell you whatever they want to tell you. So what if I was to show you in the Constitution that if Congress doesn't levy the taxes, it's unconstitutional for somebody to say they're a tax assessor. See that? Only Congress has the power to levy and weigh taxes. Only Congress. So when I tell you that we all been hoodwinked, led astray, bamboozled on some real though, all of us been lied to, fam. So how it look and sound if you got somebody that's like, hey, look, we need to form an alliance. We need to link up with like-minded people who really got passion, energy, they got resources, that they really trying to do something. Not just for this generation, but I say about 7 generations down the line. That's who you need to start having conversations with. If they not on that type of time, where you like, okay, look, you might be Mexican, you might be a Borican, you might be, you know what I'm saying, Colombian or something, but you a Moorish American, and you stand on principles and standards. So let me hear you out and see where you at. That part. Not on some, man, you from somewhere else. North, Central, South America, and all of the islands, those are the Americas. So there's someplace else in America. That's like them saying Jamaicans ain't American. Or Trinidadians or people from Bajans or people from Barbados, they not Americans. Those are Americans too. Those are Moorish Americans. It's wild when you say it like that, because people will say, they'll say, I'm British, I'm Irish. But then when you say that you Moorish, that's when they like, nah, you can't be Moorish. I never heard of that. What's that? How can you be Moorish? So why ain't you honoring Moorish, but you honor somebody saying they British, they Irish, they Polish? Why you honoring them and you not honoring somebody that says they're Moorish? Oh, is it because you never read about it? Ah, okay. You never read about it, so it must not exist because you never read about it, right? You never did no research on it. So you must be like, nah, it can't be. It can't be. Yeah, that's that ego. See? Ego and pride come before the fall. Straight up. It comes before the fall. But, hold up. But you identify as an Indian, but this land ain't called India. What? Hey, man, look. Yo. Oh, my God. You honor somebody that come from British, that say they British and Irish and Polish. But then you don't honor somebody that says they're Moorish, or you don't honor that. But you honor somebody saying that they Indian though. And the land over here ain't called India. The land over here is called Al Morocco or Al Morican. Make that make sense. And what's interesting is everybody from around the world, they know this history. And if they don't know this history, like over there in Germany, right? Over there in Belgium, they call Black Saint Nick over there. You feel me? They got that over there. They got all these Moorish kings and queens overseas. All you gotta do is travel. All you gotta do is read about it, or speak to somebody that's from over there in Belgium or Germany or Switzerland, anywhere over there. Then you will see it. It'll make sense to you. These are the kind of conversations you need to start having. Because if you out here thinking that you a paint color, that your skin don't match, how you sound to somebody? Why would somebody want to talk to you? First of all, if you identifying as a paint color that your skin don't match, and you going so hard defending the ignorance, why would somebody want to have a conversation with you? And you out here like, nah, I'm gonna call myself what I want to. All right, conversation over with. Because I can't even get you to see that paint colors are adjectives and not countries, continents. They not a bloodline. I can't even get you to see that. How you think you gonna have a relationship with somebody who don't even think they they think a crayon color, paint color is an actual landmass? Exactly. We Moorish American. Moorish means pertaining to the Americas. North, Central, South America, and all of the islands. This is the stuff I be wanting to show y'all though. I really be wanting to go different and show y'all like history like this right here. Like y'all seen Star Wars and stuff like that. Where do y'all think they get this technology from? Huh? Where y'all think they get this from? You think they just made this up out of thin air, right? In the movie Star Wars, this is what they was fighting against. Just look at it. Remember that thing that was shooting lasers out? This is Tartarian Moorish history. This is Moorish history right here you looking at. This is ancient technology. Look. You think MMA is crazy? Look. See this right here? That's Jack Johnson. He was a Moorish boxer. He's fighting against a droid. Yo! He got an exhibition fight against a robot back in the day. And y'all think it's something new under the sun when you see these people fighting robots? They been doing this. See, I be wanting to show y'all stuff like this, but I be like, nah, I don't know if they gonna, I don't know, fam. I don't know. Then you got stuff like this. They out here talking about, yeah, we need to bring one of these out. Did you see the year on this? Look at this. Look at the clothes they got on. So you know this is like back in the day. They're on electric scooters back then. So they not bringing nothing out new. None of this shit is new. The connection that links this up is you realizing that you have an ancient history that nobody has told you. You have to start using critical thinking. If you keep thinking like, well, that's just some interesting information, Kush. That's interesting and all that, but it ain't gonna do shit. If you keep thinking like that, you're not gonna connect your mind back. See, the mind is more powerful than you think. Okay? Tesla and the Cabbage Patch Kids. Get this. ASAP. Trust me. Get it. Get it, fam. If you think like this history is irrelevant, you never gonna get it. Because you're thinking like an intellectual. You're not thinking like an intelligent person. When they talk about electric cars, look. This is in the 1800s. You think the electric car is new? No, sir. The electric car is not new. Look at that. Portable charging stations back then. See that? Photon electric cars back in the day. So when they talk about buggies, you think them buggies was powered all by horses? That's cap. These were also powered by photon electricity. See, what they was waiting on was figuring out how to charge people, because, you know, they want people to be debt slaves and catch up with all the info last. They had moving sidewalks. What up? What? Yeah. I'm on the beam out. You straight? Alright, go holler at old boy over there. See that? Moving sidewalks. They had moving sidewalks back then. These was electric sidewalks back then. Y'all know how y'all go to like an amusement park type shit, and then you got walking sidewalks, or you go to the airport and the airport got that thing where you can walk on, but it make you walk faster because the flow moving type shit right here. Look at what they got on. This is ancient Moorish Tartarian technology right here. And again, you think you don't think it was blimps flying around? I just seen a commercial the other day. They was out here talking about Amazon finna start dropping droids out of the sky to deliver the packages, drones and whatnot. You think that's new? This is Tartarian airships, fam. These is Tartarian airships back in the day. Look, this is over there in Europe. This is why they had to destroy a lot of the Tartarian history, which is Moorish history. They just keep telling y'all it's Tartarian, it's Tartarian. They're Moors though. See, they don't want to say they're Moors, so they just gonna keep hitting you in the head with Tartarian. But Tartarian and Moors are the same people. See? See that? This is the battery building. See that? This is Tesla right here. See? Free energy technology, ether rooftop harnessing technology, all this stuff. This is why when you see these buildings, they got them on top, them antennas on top. So when they talk about cathodes, when they talk about cathodes, like on your car engine, when they talk about cathodes or cathedral, this is what they really talking about. The cathedral is really free energy. It's etheric energy. Look, the reason why they code all a lot of this stuff up, because they know humanity is speeding up. They know that humanity, the mind is processing information faster. The temperature is getting hotter. The UV index is increasing by the day. So they figure like, all right, look, the information is got to get out there. And if it don't get out there, we keep trying to hold all this information back, all this Moorish information back. They know that the monsoon, the tidal wave, the tsunami is going to crush them anyway. So they figure like, all right, let me tell these people, these Moorish people, hold up. We can tell these Moorish people some information, but we're not really going to give it to them like that. We're going to tell them that it was all Tartarians, right? We're going to make it seem like it was the Tartarians who wasn't the Moors. We're going to tell it to them like that. They never going to put it together. Question. Have you ever seen a pale-skinned European play a Moor in a movie? Yeah. Yo! Have you ever seen that? Just a question. I just, off the top of the dome. Have you ever seen a pale-skinned European hybrid play a Moor in a movie? Have you ever seen that? This is how they put it right in our face, hidden in plain sight. You never seen a Moor. You never seen a Moor, right? Look, you've never seen a Moor do what? Come on, man. Come on, Moors. You've never seen a Moor do what? Be played by a hybrid European. And then the hybrid European was in a role that you knew like, oh, okay. But you have seen hybrid pale-skinned Europeans play an Indian, though. You've seen them play Jesus. But again, Jesus is not his name. But you see that though. You said Nicolas Cage played a Moor in 9/11. Look, you've never seen a Moor be played by a pale-skinned European, and that European was like, yeah, I'm a Moor. Did Nicolas Cage say he was a Moor in the movie? Did he say that? Because I'm going to have to check that out. I'm going to definitely have to check that out. Did Nicolas Cage say he was a Moor in the movie? Nah, Kevin Costner wasn't a Moor. Nah. Kevin Costner, he had a Moor. Of course that we know all of them actors and people back in those people that's playing them roles. We know that all of them was Moors back then. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, have you seen, you talking about Robin Hood, you talking about Robin Hood, they had fam on some Azim, Morgan Freeman, came with the Moorish drip on. Othello, Lawrence Fishburne, he played a Moor. You seen what he was on. Hated on. But you have seen, hold up, so look, this how wild it is, right? For the people out there that's gung-ho about the so-called Indians, look. You have not seen a Moorish person, a Moorish man or woman, be played by a European. Except like when you see like Ben-Hur, old school movies like that. With Sidney Poitier and them up in there. Sidney Poitier played a Moor. Salute to Sidney Poitier. He played a Moor. So look, you have seen, for all y'all hanging on to the Indian narrative, right? This is why you know it's bogus. European hybrid pale skins, they play Indians all the time. But they never play the role of a Moor though. Dress up like a Moor and then say that they're a Moor in the movie. Why? Why? Because out of sight, out of mind. If you don't see it and you don't talk about it, it's going to be not be in your mind. That's the game that's being played. They don't show European hybrids saying that they Moors. First of all, they not Moors. They can't be Moors. Then they don't say that, so they don't say it out loud in movies because that'll trigger something in us. It'd be like, wait a minute. Who are the Moors then? Now you starting to get it. Now you're going to start researching like, oh, hold up. Who's the Moors then? Who really is the Moors then? You feel me? That's what they own. They'll be on there right there where it's like, okay, we not even going to talk about Moorish history. You see, nah, they can't stop it. Because look, when you look at the word cathedral, look at that, from 806 to 687 BC, Earth experiences 9 close encounters with Mars, resulting in planet-wide lightning storms. During each encounter, Earth's surface acts as a cathode, absorbing a constant stream of electrons from the nodal surface of Mars. Let's continue. Electric current flowed through the Earth's crust, rendering cave sanctuaries unsafe. Y'all know who came down there from them caves, right? Y'all know who came up from them caves, right? Right. And they trying to run down there back to the caves. You ain't gonna make it. You ain't gonna make it. Years of deadly cataclysms prompted the human race to learn how to harness electricity in a bid to survive periods of interplanetary electric discharge. See that? IG put me on a live timer. Wow. They put this beam out on the timer, y'all. Each one teach one. I self-law and master. Much love to all y'all out there that tune in. Share these beam outs. Teach your babies, fam. Teach your babies. All right? Study, study, study. Islam.